Let's now use the logic from graph 14.4 to illustrate the difference between short run and long run for the industry. We'll begin in panel A by illustrating the market demand curve, that is just the sum of the individual demand curves for all the consumers. We then add the short run market supply curve, which is just the sum of the individual supply curves for all the firms that are currently in the industry. At the intersection, the short run equilibrium price, P prime, emerges. Now suppose that the long run average cost curves for individual firms are such that the lowest point of those average cost curves is below P prime, in particular at P star in our graph in panel B. This implies that firms can make positive long-run profits by entering, and the entry of firms will begin to shift the short-run supply curve in the market to the right. The incentive to enter continues so long as the price in the short-run equilibrium is higher than P star, and entry of firms will only stop once the price has been driven down to P star. The new short-run equilibrium that's created by the entry of firms and is consistent with the long-run equilibrium condition that no firm has an incentive to enter or exit, will then create the price P star and cause the market to produce the quantity X star. Each individual firm will then produce at the lowest point of its long-run average cost curve. We can illustrate this profit incentive for entry in panel B of the graph by inserting into the graph the firm's marginal cost curve. The firm's supply curve is then simply the portion of the marginal cost curve that lies above average cost. At the initial price P prime, each firm would therefore want to produce the quantity X prime along its supply curve. At X prime, the long-run average cost the firm incurs is AC prime, which lies below P prime, thus creating the shaded area of positive profit. This is what gives the incentive for new firms to enter the market. We can then illustrate the long-run market equilibrium by first redrawing the market demand curve from panel A, and then recognizing that entry and exit will drive the price to P star, and thus the long-run supply curve will be flat at P star. In other words, no matter how much demand shifts back and forth, entry and exit of firms will always ensure that the price in the long run settles at P star, while all firms in the market make zero profit. The equilibrium quantity X star in panel C is then equivalent to the equilibrium quantity X star in panel A. In panel A, we simply illustrated the short-run equilibrium that's consistent with the long-run equilibrium condition that no firm has an incentive to enter or exit, whereas in panel C, we simply illustrated the long-run supply curve instead of worrying about what the short-run supply curves look like. Both pictures tell us the same thing for the long-run equilibrium output. Our underlying assumption has been that all firms in this graph are identical. As a result, the zero profit price always is P star, and therefore the supply curve in the long run has to be flat at P star. We'll next consider the case of firms that have different cost curves in the next graph.